Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Let's take a look at the headlines. Government explores private-public partnership. Citizens express their opinion on the opening of the Golconda to Debe section of the highway. And our special feature on budget preview continues. Thank you for joining us. Driving to Debe will now take approximately 5 minutes from Golconda, San Fernando. This as a new segment of the Solomon Choi Highway extension to Point Fortin opened to the driving public last Friday.
Commuting for Debe and Penal residents just got a little easier. This as Phase 1 of the Point Fortin Highway, the Golconda to Debe segment, opened officially to the motoring public. The extension of the Solomon Choi Highway provides easier access to the Southland and makes transportation of farming goods and trade of other commercial items for business persons in the Debe Penal district. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar, a resident herself in the area, says improving the roadways means improving the quality of life for all.
We know this from the south. When you get off that highway, if you have to go through the normal route, you will take 45 minutes to an hour to get from here at the end of the highway, well, the former end of the highway, to get down to Debe in the traffic cars. You take equal time to get back up to get on here. I believe, and you can correct me, without speeding, Mr. Sami, without speeding, 5 minutes. 5 minutes from here to Debe. Can you imagine? I mean, it is so amazing. 5 minutes of road time, of really quality road travel time.
The completion of this segment is just one of the many infrastructural projects NIDCO has oversight on. As the PM described these roadworks as moving the nation forward.
For the first time, we are seeing development in every part of Trinidad and Tobago. For the first time. Today, your government is focused more than ever on infrastructure delivery. It is clear to me that the time has come for us as a people to focus on nationwide development. And that is why, at every corner of Trinidad and Tobago, you will see work being done on our nation's highways and byways.
The Debe district is home to one of the largest wholesale markets in the country and food basket of the nation. MP for the area Housing Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal says businessmen will be able to conduct transactions and operate their businesses more efficiently with the improvements in productivity through the construction of the new roadway.
One of the key challenges we have faced as a government is to deal with traffic. The enormous amount of cars on the road, people on the road, delays in going to work, in going to school, and so on. We estimate that with the opening of this leg of the highway from Debe to Golconda, we will reduce traffic by 40% on the Papori Road, and the Duncan Village area, and on the M2 Ring Road with the opening of this leg of the highway. Our farmers in Penal and Debe can now load their produce, reach Debe Junction, and when they mash their eggs there, the next time they stop is at a traffic light in Ryson Road, Port of Spain.
For persons living in the area, the improvements means a faster way to home and work. Minister in the Ministry of Works, Stacey Rupnarine, described it as a page in our nation's history.
We create history by the opening of this first phase of the Solomon Choi expansion project to Point Fortin. And that is the segment from Golconda to Debe. To those men and women who have toiled on this project, I say on behalf of the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, thank you. For it was through your work and through your efforts that generations and generations to come will benefit from this first segment of the Golconda to Debe phase.
Hundreds gathered with placards to say thank you for the construction of the highway, and many voiced their gratitude for the new road and how they saw it impacting their lives. While many who live in the area say the highway is a welcome addition to the district, saw it assisting their daily commute to their jobs and more family time at home.
It is good for business, the amount of build small house business that people take care of. And if people passing through here from Point, it will benefit us real plenty. Even the gardeners will come out with their produce when they come to the market and have less congestion and even taking children to school and all these things. So I'm real happy about this open get this piece of the highway.
I work in Port of Spain most of the time, so I think it will ease up the traffic. From Davie to get to the highway, we take 45 minutes to an hour. So I think that would be a great, it will lessen the time we have to travel.
I welcome this. It will help alleviate a lot of traffic. They should look at strongly repairing this road so that the filtering traffic would not have to pass through San Fernando, but come through the M2 and could route en route to Point Fortin temporary until it goes down further. But very good job. A+ for the government.
Kimberam Kalawan, News 4.
The private sector will now play a greater role in infrastructural projects as the government explores private-public partnership projects.
2 public-private partnership pilot projects have been launched as the government moved a significant step further in the implementation of infrastructure projects using the PPP modality. On Tuesday, the Ministries of Finance and the Economy, Health and Education, as well as the Inter-American Development Bank, collectively embarked on the 2 projects, one under the Ministry of Health and the other under the Ministry of Education. According to the Honorable Minister Larry Hawai, PPPs are essentially a procurement mechanism whereby the private sector would deliver goods and services to the public sector, and where the private sector assumes the risk of design, build, finance and maintain via a long-term contract, usually for a period of 20 to 30 years. He said the government is using the PPP modality because it has been shown in both developing and developed countries to deliver projects in a more effective, efficient and transparent manner.
In the Ministry of Education, we are looking at the construction of 10 primary and 10 early childhood care and education centers. This is the beginning of a program to address the needs of our children at the earliest level of education using the public-private partnership model. Under this modality, the contractor or developer will be responsible for the construction and maintenance of the facility to Ministry of Education standards. We expect that with the launch of this particular modality in terms of using the PPP projects, that we will have in place schools which are very attractive to parents and students and which will add a huge social benefit to the communities where they will be located. The second ministry that we're dealing with this morning and that the IDB will be assisting us with is the Ministry of Health for the provision of diagnostic services. And the Minister of Health will speak to these in a little bit more detail. But these diagnostic services is intended to complement the public hospitals' diagnostic capacity and provide direct service to the primary care population at the level of primary, secondary, and tertiary prevention and diagnostic support.
The IDB has been working with the Ministry of Finance and the Economy, especially over the past 8 months, to initiate the PPP program. IDB representative Michelle Cross-Fenty explained the bank's role in the 2 projects.
Our goal at the IDB is to build capacity for the PPP unit and to demonstrate success of Trinidad and Tobago as a role model for the rest of the region. IDB's commitment to ensuring the success of the 2 projects is demonstrated through the formation of the dedicated team of our experienced professionals in-house. Also, the commitment of almost $2 million to finance the expertise and knowledge development required to build the capacity. And of course, finally, to share the best practices, lessons and our networks of public and private actors from developing and developed states with a track record in PPP delivery. You know, it's really important that I thank the Ministries of Finance, Health and Education for their willingness to embrace a collaborative, cooperative and coordinated approach to building the governmental architecture necessary to support the successful implementation of a PPP.
She said the IDB commits to work with the Ministry of Finance and the Economy, as well as respective line ministries, to make certain that these projects benefit the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago in a cost-effective and transparent manner, and that these projects serve as harbingers of more successes to come, not just in this country, but the Caribbean region as a whole. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
When we come back, our budget review features continue. Stay with us. As anticipation builds for the presentation of the 2013-2014 fiscal package by the Honorable Larry Howai, Minister of Finance and the Economy, we will analyze and review the promises and commitments made by the government in the 2012-2013 fiscal package. Today we look at the commitment given by the government to developing this country's public utilities and public transport system.
It's been 1 year since Finance Minister Larry Howai laid out plans to settle the CLICO and HCO debacle as part of his 2012 budget presentation. These measures, launched in November last year, saw the establishment of the CLICO Investment Fund as a means of generating income.
I would amend the Income Tax Act and the Corporation Tax Act to expressly exempt from tax the dividends or other distributions paid to resident individuals and companies by the CLICO Investment Fund, as well as by the profits accruing to the trust under the CLICO Investment Fund.
The CLICO Investment Fund served to bring the CLICO and HCO matters to an end by 2012-2013. Income generated by the fund was also said to be tax exempt, while HCO depositors were paid $531 million in November and a new insurance company established to manage traditional policies from CLICO and HCU.
The CLICO Investment Fund is being set up to offer to the short-term investment product, or sometimes called STIP holders, of CLICO and BAT, who accepted government's offer of up to $75,999 in cash and government 1 to 20-year zero-coupon bonds, the opportunity to redeem their 11 to 20-year zero-coupon bonds for units in the fund. The CLICO Investment Fund is a $5.1 billion fund which has been capitalized and sponsored by the government of Trinidad and Tobago, with 40 million shares of Republic Bank Limited, representing 86% of the assets of the fund, and government bonds amounting to $702 million, with a tenor of 25 years, yielding 4.25%, which represents approximately 14% of the assets of the fund.
The establishment of this fund reiterated government's intentions to protect the policyholders and secure the country's financial system.
The establishment of the CLICO Investment Fund represents substantial progress that the government has made in protecting the policyholders of CLICO and BAT, and has provided these policyholders with a level of recovery that is substantially better than they would have received had these companies been allowed to go into liquidation. Our actions and the level of financial support and commitment provided by the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago to these institutions and their policyholders has ultimately protected the financial system from systemic risk and undue shocks in a very challenging global environment.
Persons who accepted the initial offer were privy to receive dividends twice annually, which were paid in February and August 2013. However, under this, bondholders were not subject to income taxes on the dividend income from the fund. Minister Howai says the fund was part of ensuring the protection of investors' hard-earned money, while simultaneously ensuring transparency and full accountability.
The units in this fund are registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission of Trinidad and Tobago. Hence, it will function under strict regulations designed to protect the interests of investors, including the requirement to have public financial reporting. The trading price of the fund will be declared daily on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Hence, you will be investing in a transparent product, and regular updates on the value of your investment will be available.
Follow-through of this was noted as in August 2013 when Minister Howai reiterated government's commitment to settling the CLICO matter before year's end by announcing the payment to up to 25,000 stakeholders in the credit union sector, which received a total of $10.2 billion in its move to settle.
What has been proposed, and which I think the CL Financial has sort of agreed to, is that they are prepared to arrange for an appropriate divestment of assets such that most of the debt of the government will be repaid. There will, however, remain an overhang of debt, which will then which would remain unpaid, and these are the remaining assets that the CL Group will remain with. And what will happen is that the government will now take security over the remainder of these assets, which is the $1 billion of assets that you're referring to, and they will develop these assets over time and use the proceeds of the disposition of these assets as they develop them to pay off the remainder of what is owed to the government.
Kimram Kalawan, News 4.
When we come back, our sport report. Stay with us. Terry Williams and his 1976 FC Phoenix team travelled from the sister island, grabbed a point from a normally stingy club, Sando, as match day 10 of the Blink B-Mobile National Super League was contested on Sunday. Wayne Cunningham has the highlights from the Atto Boland Stadium.
With Guaya United inactive, Club Sando had the opportunity to go 6 points clear at the top of the National Super League standings with a win versus 1976 FC Phoenix when they met on match day 10 at the Atto Boland Stadium in Couva. Sando came into the match with a near-perfect record, with just a draw being the only blemish to date. But it was the Tobago squad with the first sight at goal, Jem Gordon going just wide of the upright in the 5th minute. Club Sando did not just sit back and watch though. Andy London and Devon Morris giving Joel Sampson some problems in the Phoenix goal. London was again in the thick of things with this Kern Cupid free kick. Mohamed Issa's men were piling on the pressure, and the physical contact was taking its toll on Sampson. You know what they say about pressure, and it rang true in the 38th minute. Tiba McKnight putting Sando ahead. The cross from London being deflected into the path of McKnight, and he takes his chance well, despite the efforts of Andel Brown to block it, much to the delight of the Club Sando faithful. That joy did not last long as Phoenix conjured up an equalizer before the halftime whistle. The coach's son with a strong run to beat the Sando defense. Leandro Williams making it 1-1 in the 41st minute. That was all the scoring in the first half. It was all the scoring in the match, as neither team could add to their tally. The draw keeping Sando at the top of the standings, but the idle Guaya United, as well as the rapidly rising Malabar FC, will be grateful to Phoenix for reigning in Sando, if ever so slightly. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
News 4 continues right after the break. Stay with us. Minister of Works and Infrastructure and Local Government, Dr. the Honorable Surajratan Rambachan, believes any Trinbagonian who cannot appreciate this country's various cultures cannot appreciate themselves. He delivered this message as he delivered the feature address at Independence Day celebrations held at the Diwali Nagar site in Chaguanas.
A hodgepodge of cultures and dances as some citizens celebrate this country's 51 years of independence with a rainbow dance festival at the Diwali Nagar site in Chaguanas. Minister Rambachan, speaking at the festival, is urging citizens to take a mature approach to developing relationships through the appreciation of the nation's various cultures.
Unless we take the time to understand understand each other through our cultural traditions, we will never develop in a society the quality of interpersonal relationships between each other that will lead to peace and harmony in the society. When we stay away from each other, when we fail to participate in each other's events, when we fail to see the beauty of the different cultures that we have in this country, and to see them on the same stage, side by side, we fail to appreciate ourselves as a people.
Dr. Rambachan says despite our various cultures, all Trinbagonians should have the same goal in mind for the nation.
The importance of understanding each other and the importance of unity. That we are one. We may have different streams of culture, but they all lead to the same goal. The goal of the development of our potential, the goal of contributing to a much more prosperous and interpersonally peaceful society, and of course, a beautiful nation.
Meanwhile, he condemns what he describes as the dark culture being embraced by some young persons.
We in Trinidad and Tobago are faced with a situation where many young people are going astray, where many young people are being attracted to what I like to call the dark alternative cultures and choices. And we are seeing the results of that attraction. We are seeing the results of people straying away from activities that are human values driven, or one may say on the whole values driven activities. We read recently, and I'm sure many of you were shocked at the death of a 16-year-old boy on his first day of going to school, trying to change his own lifestyle. We were shocked at the death of a 19-year-old or 18-year-old girl, a pregnant girl who was shot in Laventille.
Minister Rambachan compliments the friends and families of the dancers at the festival, saying they have taught the dancers priceless skills by encouraging them in their craft.
Because it is not just about the performance that we are talking about tonight. When a person appears here on the stage to perform, it is the result of hours and hours and days, weeks and months of training and self-discipline. When they appear on stage here, they dance as a group. It is a team at work. And so through these activities, we teach certain life skills to our children. The skill of self-discipline, the skill of goal setting, the skill of achievement, the skill of being a member of a team and working in support of each other on the stage. All of these life skills, which are very important to building a quality society.
Gregory McBurney, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barreto. Thank you for joining us.